Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is November the 12th, 2023. Hopefully, this episode finds you well in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. I actually got to go out last night. It was really fun. Had a good time seeing the friends, cutting up. Let's see here. I did get some yummy food in me. I got some Chameleon, which is pizza bar joint kind of situation. And they have really good wings too. I've of course mentioned this before, but yeah, I got a pepperoni and cheese pizza. It was very good. And then one of the homies let me have some of their stromboli, so that was also pretty cool. So yeah, we overall had a really good night. I got an allergy thing I think going on. Man, it is a cruel curse to have pet allergies. I feel like when I was younger, I really didn't have to deal with that at all. But then again, I've just never really had like pets in the house, so maybe I was just dodging a bullet this whole time. But yeah, saw some cute little doggos, saw some cute little kitties, and paying the price for that. But overall, had a good time, had a good weekend. So let's see here. Let me go ahead and get situated, get my startup in, and then we'll get into some news. Oi, 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 oi. All right. Our first article comes from NPR. International outcry grows over unbearably desperate situation in Gaza hospitals. International outcry continues to grow over conditions at Gaza's biggest hospital, around which Israel's military says it's been battling Hamas fighters. Doctors Without Borders released a voice memo from Dr. Mohammed Obeid from inside Al-Shifa hospital saying the lives of dozens of babies are in peril after their incubators shut down because fuel to power generators ran out. We had two neonatal patients die actually because the incubator is not working because there's no electricity, Obeid said. So the situation is very bad. We need help. Obeid said the hospital is treating 600 patients and that they are also running out of water and food. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu has kind of sit down and said that they've already been moving out patients, and that's something that they're working on, though the NPR has not verified that. I also have not heard too much in terms of that. I've only really heard that there's been a focus on trying to get the babies out of said hospital. I mean, that is something if they can even get that done. But I mean, obviously, much more needs to get done. It is crazy that not just this hospital, but others have no power, no fuel, no access to more food and water, and then not to mention there's bombings that are also happening now. Israel is saying like, oh no, we haven't been. We've only been targeting Hamas fighters, and even if we were targeting these hospitals, it's because we think that Hamas is there or in some kind of underground tunnel or something. Obviously over here we think that fucking shit is bullshit. I don't think that abides with any kind of, any, I'm trying to think of the word, like, it just feels like war crime type shit, you know what I mean? It's very frustrating, to come to you guys with stories like this, and it's sad that we're not really seeing any, changes. But I think that part of what I'm trying to do is just keep talking about it, and I know that other people are out there actually protesting and getting active and really calling for a ceasefire. I think that is the best and only thing that we can at least do right now to get people actual help, to get people actually just some kind of safety, is to give them that ceasefire, to give them that kind of safety, not 4 hour fucking breaks in the violence. Let me get back to this article though. The regional directors of the World Health Organization and United Nations agencies have recorded 137 attacks on healthcare facilities in Gaza since the fighting began, resulting in 521 people killed and 686 injured. Excuse me. According to the group, 16 healthcare workers have been killed and 38 have been injured on duty. Let's see here. There was also another number I wanted to pull before I moved on. The Palestinian Health Ministry reports more than 11,000 people in Gaza have been killed in Israeli military operations since October 7th. And then they also, something I wanted to add, it came in, that they've lowered the numbers from 1,400 to 1,200 since the October 7th Hamas led attack on Israel. So that's just a relevant number change. It's just, just I guess for statistical purposes. But, it's crazy that this one action that took place on October 7th has now led to all of this. And essentially we're saying like, oh no, this is justified. We have to continue to keep doing this. You guys should continue to support us. You should not tell us to do a ceasefire. Like we have the right to do this. I don't think that it just doesn't make sense to me. It's always going to continuously boggle my mind. But what can you do? Like I said, keep talking about it. Keep fighting that shit. Anyway, from NBC News. Oh, no, not NBC. I'm sorry. ABC News. 5 U.S. service members killed in crash after mishap during training exercise. 5 American service members were killed in a crash on Friday night after their aircraft had a mishap during a training exercise and went into the eastern Mediterranean Sea, officials said on Sunday. U.S. European Command said in an initial statement on Saturday that the cause of the crash was under investigation, but there are no indications of hostile activity. The aircraft was conducting a routine air refueling mission, according to the European Command latest statement, and further details were not provided. Also, the names of the dead have not been released yet, pending notification of relatives. So yeah, I just wanted to post that. That was kind of some breaking news that I caught today before I went on, so I figured we'd go ahead and cover that real quick. And some other news from Reuters. Surgeons in New York announce world's first eye transplant. Surgeons in New York have performed the first ever whole eye transplant in a human. They announced on Thursday, an accomplishment being held as a breakthrough, even though the patient has not regained sight in the eye. In the 6 months since the surgery performed during a partial face transplant, the grafted eye has shown important signs of health, including well-functioning blood vessels and a promising-looking retina, according to the surgical team at NYU Langone Health. The recipient of the eye, Aaron James, is a 46-year-old military veteran from Arkansas who survived a work-related high-voltage electrical accident that damaged the left side of his face, his nose, his mouth, and his left eye. Definitely, I've seen a couple of the pictures, and I gotta say, they are definitely very jarring in terms of some of the before pictures. But I know that a lot of the focus on this is definitely like the eye transplant, because it's like, I think up until this point, they were only able to successfully transplant a cornea, like a part of the eye. So getting a whole eye in there connected and everything like that is pretty, big. I think they said the way that they did it was they took part of James's bone marrow and then used like the stem cells in that. And that helps when you go to connect it in the eye, the tissue, the retina, all this kind of fucking shit, whatever, the nerves. And, they're hoping that at some point he will be able to see, but that's not something that they're like super focused on. At the end of the day, it's just big that they were able to connect it and that the eye is still like healthy. So, definitely is a big breakthrough. And I know they're talking about like, other doctors and stuff trying to, come up with more ways to do this kind of shit. Also, the doctor that did it, I feel like it's important to note, is Dr. Eduardo D. Rodriguez. But yeah, initially he was supposed to have, this is it graft? But I do feel like once I saw some of the before pictures, that was also so impressive. Like the amount of damage he sustained to his face was a lot. It was very extensive, and for them to even, get his, the top part of his face, and then obviously his nose and his lips, like, and it was so sweet. He was able to like kiss his wife, again, and it's just like, man, that's crazy. Definitely, there's so much for this guy to have gone through and to still keep going through. So yeah, I mean, and he even said, he knew obviously that this is something that, like, yeah, there's a strong chance that I'm not going to get, vision in my eye back, but it's at least going to give doctors a chance to try this out, and maybe, it'll help people in the future. So, I always love covering stories like that. Kind of like when we did like the guy who got the pig heart transplant. Like, that's a major thing. And even though he did wind up dying, I think, was it weeks or months later, that's still a big thing. So, medical advancements like this are super, super interesting, super good, and we love to see it, love to talk about it. So that's some good news. Yeah, we love that. We love that. All right, we have one more thing to cover. Kind of bumbled along here pretty quickly. Let me go ahead and take my last break, and then we will get on out of here. All right, our last article comes from Engadget. Bored Ape NFT event leads to at least 15 attendees reporting severe eye burn. At least 15 visitors at Yuga Labs Apefest, a celebration of the marvels of the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT, may have experienced serious eye injuries. Bloomberg reports that multiple people attending the NFT event, which is a non-fungible token, essentially a JPEG that you could buy, and it was supposed to be really cool and really trendy and be worth a ton of fucking money. But of course, it went the way of the fucking dodo real fucking fast. I'm surprised even that this is a fucking thing. That people are still holding on to their NFTs, and not just holding on to their NFTs, going to functions, going to big events to network and party and do shit. But yeah, so this was an event that was held in Hong Kong last weekend. But apparently they went to this event, they partied. Also, I gotta say, if you look up the event and see some images and stuff like that, it's very odd. I don't really get it. It's kind of like a ravey party thing, and then there's like fixtures, installations that you can like kind of like interact with, take pictures on or with. I saw one picture of a guy sitting on a like a neon like I want to say UV. I mean, I guess the lighting is kind of relevant here. We'll get to that, but sitting there, taking pictures, and it seems like they're all having a good time, but they wind up some people wind up having some vision problems, which they suspect stems from the event's stage lighting. Some of the attendees claim doctors subsequently diagnosed them with photokeratitis, aka welder's eye, caused by exposure to ultraviolet rays. Apparently, the contractor put in lights, like these UV lights, and they didn't have like a filter or anything like that. So these motherfuckers were just getting hit up raw with this kind of light that essentially is just burning your eyes. I think even maybe some people might have even taken like some skin damage. Let me go ahead and read a quote here. Meanwhile, at Adrian Zedunskik, I got his name wrong, sorry about that. To all my friends who suffer now, go get your eyes checked. You've most literally got your eyes burnt with UV like I did, which requires medications, eye drops, eye protection, antibiotics, and specialist care. Don't ignore this health hazard. Without proper treatment, it may cause long-lasting vision impairment and other serious damage. Excuse me. Zedunksik wrote that seeking medical attention quickly appears to have spared him long-term damage. My vision was tested as close to perfect with no serious cornea damage, luckily. So that's good. I think I've generally heard that like that's a general like consensus that people just took some damage, but overall they'll be okay. Some people did have to go out and get some treatment. But I just can't imagine going to any fucking function and then next thing you know, my eyes get burnt. Like, what? um, Now let's see. Yuga Labs briefly addressed the issue on X, saying it's aware of the eye-related issues that affected some of the attendees at Apefest, while claiming it's proactively reaching out to individuals since yesterday to try to find the potential root causes. The company downplayed the number of people reporting issues, adding, based on our estimates, we believe that much less than 1% of those attending and working the event had these symptoms. The NFT company advised attendees experience symptoms to seek medical attention just in case. I mean, at the same time as I'm surprised and shocked to like learn about this shit, I'm not that surprised that like a dumbass just event just leads to people getting hurt, and it's of course related to fucking bored apes. I don't really. It's been so long. I feel like since I talked about this fucking shit. Um, I don't really feel that bad to anyone who bought in and now their shit was like, just tanked and worth pretty much next to nothing. And or people who got their shit like stolen, or people were just like, oh, I'm just gonna copy paste your thing and I'm just gonna troll you. It just is what it is. You get what you get. Like you paid for this. I don't know, man. Once again, I really am shocked that this is just still a thing. People are still like holding on, they're hodling, and not to mention they're partying and apparently getting their eyes burnt. Yeah, apparently the lights were Philips bulbs that emit UVC, often used as a disinfectant. So hey, I mean, at least your eyes are nice and sterile. That's cool. That's pretty neat. But yeah, that's it. That's really the episode. That's all we have. All right, cool. Nice and easy. Short and sweet. Mwah. So yeah, that's all I have. Hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye. Mwah.